In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It all began in the void. The earth was formless, covered in darkness, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Then God spoke, and a light came into existence. He separated the light from the darkness and established time, day and night. In the days that followed, by the power of His word, God created the sky, separated the waters, brought forth dry land, and filled it with plants and trees. Then He placed the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky to mark days, seasons, and years. The waters teemed with life, and the skies with birds. Then came the animals of the earth, wild and tame. But finally, something different. God created mankind in His own image, male and female. And God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. But the creation story didn't end there. God formed a garden in a place called Eden, a perfect paradise. There, He placed the man Adam to care for it. From the dust he came, and from his side God made Eve. They were naked and felt no shame. God gave them everything except one command. They were not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Then came the serpent, cunning, deceptive. She questioned God's word, and Eve listened. She ate, and so did Adam. In that moment, their eyes were opened, but innocence was lost. They hid from God, ashamed. Sin had entered the world, and with it the curse, pain, toil, and death. Yet even then God showed mercy, clothing them and promising that one day the offspring of the woman would crush the serpent's head. Banished from Eden, Adam and Eve began life east of the garden. They had 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Abel honored God with his offering. Cain did not. In jealousy, Cain killed his brother. The first murder, the first grave. When God asked Cain where Abel was, he lied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" But God knew. Cain was cursed to wander, yet God still marked him for protection. The world was no longer as it had been, but even in judgment, God's grace remained. Time passed, and humanity multiplied. But so did sin. Though people lived long lives, their hearts were full of corruption. The earth was filled with violence. God looked upon His creation, and it grieved Him. Yet in the midst of darkness, one man found favor with God, Noah. God spoke to Noah, not with thunder, but with purpose. He would send a great flood to cleanse the earth. But He gave Noah instructions: build an ark, a vessel of wood, massive in size, built not on a coastline, but on dry land. Noah obeyed. Day after day he worked while the world mocked him. But he believed God, not because he saw, but because he had faith. Then came the animals, 2 by 2, male and female, as God commanded. And Noah, with his wife, his sons and their wives, entered the ark. The door was shut by the hand of God. The sky darkened. The rains came. For 40 days and nights, water fell from above and rose from below. Mountains disappeared beneath the waves. Everything that had breath outside the ark perished, but inside there was life. God remembered Noah. After months, the waters began to recede. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah sent out a raven, then a dove, and one day the dove returned with an olive leaf. Dry land was near. When Noah stepped out of the ark, he built an altar. He worshiped the Lord, and God made a covenant, a promise sealed with a sign, the rainbow. Never again would He destroy the earth with a flood. After the flood, life began again. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, became the fathers of the nations. From them came the peoples of the earth. But even after judgment, sin remained. One day Noah became drunk from wine he had made. Lying uncovered in his tent, he was seen by Ham, the father of Canaan. Instead of honoring his father, Ham exposed his shame. When Noah awoke, he pronounced a curse, not upon Ham, but upon Canaan, his son, and blessings upon Shem and Japheth. A division had begun between those who honored God and those who did not. Generations passed. The descendants of Noah spread over the earth, yet they spoke one language. United in speech and purpose, they said, "Let's build a city with a tower reaching to the heavens." It was pride, not worship, that drove them, a desire to make a name for themselves and remain together in defiance of God's command to fill the earth. But God came down and saw what they were doing, and he confused their language. Suddenly, they could no longer understand one another. The city was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the speech of all people. From that place, he scattered them over the face of the earth. Still, God's plan was not lost. Among the scattered nations, one family line carried the promise. Through Shem, the line of blessing would continue until it reached a man named Abram.